Everybody thinks that California's home prices only go up. We have massive housing shortages or very low inventory. We have some of the highest incomes in the country because of all these great jobs. We have technology wealth, IPO money, restricted stock units, and buyers who somehow continue to show up at every open house with down payments that look like they won the Powerball lottery. So the natural assumption after all this time is that California home prices will never, ever come down. But that isn't actually true. There are California cities where prices have declined, sellers have gotten more realistic and negotiated, inventory has shifted, and buyers are finally starting to receive credits and concessions again. And one of the markets that's showing softness right now is located in the middle of the most powerful technology market in the world. But I want to be very clear about something right here at the beginning of this video. This is not a video that is going to claim that all properties in the 10 cities I'm going to mention in this video are crashing. Some of those cities have in fact recorded real year-over-year price decline. Others have experienced simply a loss of momentum, more price reductions, more marketing time, builder incentives, or just general weakness when it comes to certain neighborhoods and property types. That distinction matters because California is no longer one market moving in one direction. It's becoming a collection of several different markets. And sometimes two homes located just a mile apart can produce completely different results. So today I'm going to break down 10 California cities and regions where buyers may have more leverage than statewide headlines actually suggest. What actually is creating that leverage and whether the opportunity is real or just a temporary pause. Now, if we have not met before, my name is Arjun Dhingra. Thank you so much for watching this video and tuning into this channel. It would mean the world to us if you smashed that like button to give this video a little bit more reach so it can help more people like you that are watching this. And please subscribe to my channel. It's my job to bring forth content like this as a mortgage advisor of 25 years that has helped thousands of families and individuals put down roots here or take part in their own wealth expansion when it comes to California real estate. And if me and my team can be of help to you in any way, shape, or form, please reach out to me on Instagram at Arjun Mortgage. And we would be honored to help you put together a plan for acquiring your piece of California in the near term or long term. But at the end of the day, my goal here today, guys, is to help you evaluate the opportunity that is out there, where the balance may be actually shifting, and how ultimately you take advantage of this. So let's get into today's topic. Let's first start with the statewide averages. California's median existing single-family home price reached approximately $930,000 in May of 2026. That was a record, and it represented a 3.1% increase from the prior year. Then, just 1 month later, the June statewide median price point declined to approximately $904,000. That's a 2.8% monthly drop from May, although it remains slightly higher than June of the previous year. Earlier in January, the statewide median price had fallen to nearly a 2-year low. So which headline is actually correct? California reaching a record high or California prices are declining? Technically, both can be correct depending on the month, the property mix, location, and time frame that it's being measured within. This is why the state average is a terrible way to put any sort of decision-making weight on when it comes to buying your property. You cannot buy California. You can buy a property in a neighborhood, within a city, within a specific price tier. And statewide medians can also be affected by which property types happen to sell during a particular month. If more luxury homes close, the median rises. That does not automatically mean that the value of every entry-level condo increased by the same percentage. If fewer expensive properties close the following month, the median can decline without every individual homeowner losing equity. California is being pulled in different directions by 4 major forces: mortgage rates, insurance expenses, taxes, and total ownership costs, and migration, both between California cities and California cities across to other states. Those forces do not hit every city equally. That is what creates the list that we are about to discuss right here in this video. So starting with number 10 is Sacramento. Sacramento benefited enormously during the pandemic from Bay Area migration. People realized that they could work remotely, sell or leave an expensive Bay Area property, and purchase substantially more space in the Sacramento region. That wave of migration pushed demand and prices higher. But as employers brought workers back into offices and remote work flexibility changed, that migration pipeline slowed. San Francisco 2026 numbers have also been very choppy. Most research shows that prices are down 5.9% year over year in February, followed by a small increase in March. That is not a straight line crash, guys. It is evidence of market volatility and that very same market trying to find its own balance. Desirable school districts in areas such as Elk Grove may continue attracting strong demand, but the broad frenzy has definitely cooled. The most important shift is not necessarily the headline price. it's the return of negotiation. Buyers may be able to ask for closing cost credits. They may retain inspection contingencies. They may negotiate repairs instead of accepting the house exactly as it sits. This is a meaningful change from the pandemic years where you couldn't even negotiate or even utter any words or inference of trying to ask for some sort of concession, some sort of credit. And so that is what is actually happening in Sacramento. Now let's move on to city number 9 on our list, which is San Jose. San Jose is a very clear-cut example of why we have to be very careful when it comes to statewide headlines. Over a 3-month period ending in May of 2026, Redfin reported that the median price point was down 1.4% from the prior year at roughly $1.4 million. Homes were still moving quickly, averaging about 13 days or so on the market. And so that does not look like a dead housing market, but it does show that even Silicon Valley was not rising uniformly. The data also identified more listings receiving price reductions during the spring and early summer. Now that tells us that some sellers entered the market expecting the old frenzy, and buyers just simply refused to cooperate. Tech layoffs and stock market volatility can make buyers definitely more cautious, and that has absolutely been the case. But AI wealth, high compensation, and limited inventory can still support the best properties. So San Jose, like most markets, is not one simple story. A well-located single-family home located in a good school district will still be highly competitive. An overpriced condo or a compromised property or a listing with just very weak presentation may sit for a while and even result in a price reduction. So the opportunity here is not San Jose is crashing. The opportunity rather is San Jose buyers may finally be able to distinguish between a great property and an overpriced one without being forced to waive every protection they have. Now to number 8 on our list, which is Fresno. Fresno was another beneficiary of people moving away from California's expensive coastal markets into pastures where they could get a lot more bang for buck. And that was the simple value proposition. More house, more land, for a much lower purchase price. And during a period of low mortgage rates, historically low mortgage rates in fact, that trade looked very promising. But local housing prices eventually outpaced the growth in local wages, and that creates an instant affordability ceiling. The climate and utility expenses also matter. A buyer may see a lower price point house, but they need to account for cooling costs, energy expenses, maintenance, and the realities of living through intense regional heat. Investor demand can change instantly as well. When rents, financing costs, property taxes, insurance, and maintenance no longer produce the desired return, investors stop bidding as aggressively. That creates more space for owner-occupied buyers. But all in all, guys, I would describe Fresno as a market that is now seeing weakened momentum from what was a lot of very heavy traffic or migration coming from the Bay Area during the pandemic. And so buyers should examine inventory, seller concessions, the ability to negotiate, days on market in the neighborhoods, and not feel at all like they have to overpay for a house. If you're going to strike any value and get a great deal as a buyer, Fresno is definitely a market for that. Now moving on to number 7 on our list, which is Stockton. Now Stockton is a market that has been extremely sensitive to all of the fluctuation in mortgage rates because affordability is a big key there, and its buyers are very tied to affordability-driven financing. That includes conventional buyers with smaller down payments, as well as FHA and VA buyers. So when mortgage rates rise, these buyers may not simply just get annoyed, they may no longer actually qualify. Now the annual price decline in Stockton has ranged, depending on neighborhoods and price points, from 1.4% to just over 4%. So that is by no means a 2008-like collapse, but it is meaningful softness, no doubt. Stockton has also become attractive as a commuter market, but commuting becomes less appealing when gas is expensive, employers require more office attendance, and the buyer is already stretched by the mortgage payment. The further you move from the employment center, the more the transportation expense becomes part of the housing payment, even though it does not appear on the mortgage statement. Now, this is certainly an area where buyers may find more negotiation power, but they still need to examine employment stability, commute costs, neighborhood level demand, and the long-term resale audience. Now, coming up further north, next on our list at number 6 is Dublin. Dublin, for the longest time, was one of California's fastest growing cities. It offered newer construction, strong transportation access, fantastic schools, and a location that connected buyers with multiple Bay Area employment centers. But Dublin has something many supply-constrained Bay Area cities do not: meaningful new construction inventory. When builders have unsold inventory, they just don't all of a sudden slash the prices. Instead, they offer mortgage rate buydowns, which is why new construction is packaged so differently, because it's priced to actually move. Closing cost credits, design upgrades, lot premiums being waived, or incentives for using that affiliated lender, which most all builders have their own. This can create a hidden price reduction. A builder may preserve the recorded sales price because future comparable sales matter, while quietly giving the buyer tens of thousands of dollars in value. So because of this dynamic, Dublin really favors sellers well overall. So I would not call Dublin a crashing market by any means. I would call it a market where increased supply and builder competition is creating leverage that is unusual when compared to other markets. And for a buyer, leverage is what matters, not whether someone on YouTube just officially defined a crash for this place. Now let's come back more towards the city. Number 5 on our list is Oakland. Now Oakland is dealing with several overlapping challenges. Negative crime headlines, concerns about public safety, uneven neighborhood demand, higher interest rates, of course, insurance and maintenance costs, and competition from other Bay Area locations. There's been an annual citywide decline in price year over year of roughly 4.6% to date. After we adjust for inflation, it's actually a bit of a larger decline. But Oakland is definitely one of those cities that you have to analyze it neighborhood by neighborhood. Rockridge is not the same market as East Oakland. The Oakland Hills are not the same market as a downtown condo. A well-positioned property can still attract strong demand, but buyers are no longer overlooking every single flaw. They're getting pickier, and they should. Repairs that buyers once waived may now become the basis for substantial credits. A roof issue matters, a foundation concern matters, insurance availability matters, the condition of a sewer lateral matters. And a seller that prices their home as if it's still 2021 is going to enter in a serious bonding relationship with that listing because it's not going anywhere. Oakland may offer real opportunities, but it requires detailed local knowledge and careful evaluation of the property, not a blanket assumption that just everything is cheap. Number 4 on our list is Palo Alto. This one may be a bit of a surprise because no one would consider Palo Alto to be collapsing, and I certainly am not. Again, Palo Alto is not collapsing, so let me save you all the trouble. It remains one of the most expensive and economically powerful markets in the entire state, but the buy at any price mentality can still weaken. Luxury buyers are often highly influenced by stock performance, venture capital activity, liquidity events, and confidence. When confidence drops, they may delay, they may negotiate, they may refuse to chase an aggressively priced property. That can cause a home to sit longer, even though the eventual sales price remains enormous. The opportunity in Palo Alto is relative. For an average California buyer, a multi-million-dollar property that's taking a little bit longer to sell does not suddenly make it affordable. But for qualified buyers already shopping in that tier, the disappearance of 20 offers and that type of a frenzy entering the play here can materially improve the transaction. This is more of a reduction in seller power than it is any sort of price collapse. Number 3 on our list is Ontario and parts of the Inland Empire. The region experienced a major boost from logistics, warehouse expansion, migration from coastal Southern California, and buyers seeking relative affordability. But warehouse growth has cooled in some locations, and the local economy is highly sensitive to consumer spending and financing conditions. We identified an annual decline of approximately 1.5% in Ontario. Again, not a crash, but when you add insurance expenses and wildfire exposure in parts of the broader Inland Empire, commuting costs, higher mortgage rates, all of this means that affordability becomes much tighter than what the purchase price alone suggests. An insurance premium that rises by several $100s a month can remove tens of thousands of dollars of mortgage purchasing power. This means that insurance is no longer a closing requirement. It is actively repricing properties. Homes with manageable and predictable coverage may retain stronger demand. Homes with expensive or difficult coverage may require a discount. This is where buyers need to obtain actual insurance quotes very early in the process, not 3 days before closing, which used to be typical. Number 2 on the list as we round this out is Lake Tahoe and the Truckee area. Second home markets experienced extraordinary demand during the pandemic. People wanted space, they wanted escape from major cities. Remote work made all of that possible, and spending time away from the actual office was a nice new luxury. Short-term rentals made some of these properties look like attractive investments as well. But second home demand can reverse quickly, and typically it's the first part of the market to always make a 180. Mortgage rates are higher, remote work patterns are now very different, and managing a distant property is expensive and also not the most convenient thing. Insurance, of course, can be very difficult to obtain, and short-term rental restrictions in Tahoe, because it's a pretty complicated topic, can reduce expected income. Now, Truckee experienced an 8% year-over-year drop through January and 22% in February. Those are dramatic monthly snapshots, but we should be cautious here. Small luxury and second home sales can be heavily distorted when it comes to the data during market cycles like this. If fewer trophy homes sell, the median price falls sharply, without every individual property losing 22% of its value. But the broader direction is still very important here, guys. Inventory and negotiation power have shifted towards buyers compared with the pandemic peak. A buyer considering Tahoe or Truckee should analyze the property as both a lifestyle decision and a financial asset. Plus, what will the insurance cost? Can it legally operate as a short-term rental? What does snow removal cost? How often will you realistically use it? And can you comfortably hold it without rental income? This is where the fantasy and the spreadsheet need to actually meet before closing, not after the first winter storm of you being a new owner. And the number one city on our list, which may be a surprise, so you need to hear me out on this, is actually San Francisco, but only if we define the market correctly. Now, Zillow reported that the city's typical home value was up 9.5% year over year through June of 2026. Redfin reported that the broader San Francisco's metro median price surged 14.4% year over year in March. Separate local market reports showed the March median single-family house price in the city reached approximately 2.15 million. So the citywide market is not broadly collapsing at all. In fact, many premium single-family neighborhoods are extraordinarily competitive. AI wealth, stock compensation, limited inventory, and an increase in cash purchases have strengthened the upper end. What is true is that San Francisco contains several markets. Certain condos, overpriced listings, properties with high HOA dues, homes with deferred maintenance, units in less desirable buildings, and properties aimed at rate-sensitive buyers may experience more resistance. Commercial real estate distress and the doom loop narrative also continue influencing sentiment. But sentiment and residential sales prices are not always the same thing. So the correct lesson is not San Francisco prices are dropping fast. The correct lesson is, instead, San Francisco has one of the most divided housing markets in California. A scarce single-family residence can receive multiple offers and sell well over asking. A compromised condo can sit, reduce its price, and eventually be forced to negotiate. Same city, extremely different buyer pool. This is exactly why statewide and even citywide headlines can be very misleading. So what should buyers take away from this list? First of all, stop shopping based on statewide headlines. Look at the exact city, then check out the neighborhood, then the property type, then the price tier. Second, measure seller motivation. Has the property been on the market longer than similar listings? Has the seller reduced the price? Are they offering closing cost credits? Is there deferred maintenance? Did another buyer cancel? Third, calculate the full ownership cost. And this one's big, guys. The mortgage payment, property taxes, insurance, HOA dues, maintenance, transportation, potential assessments. A cheaper purchase price does not automatically mean a cheaper property to own. Fourth, understand why, if applicable, the market is actually soft. A temporary affordability slowdown can create opportunity, but weak long-term demand, uninsurable property, failing HOA finances, or a shrinking resale audience can create a trap. The goal is not to merely buy something simply because the seller reduced the price. The goal is to buy a defensible property at improved terms. So in conclusion, guys, California is not moving in one direction when it comes to its real estate. Some cities are experiencing actual price declines. Some are simply losing momentum. Some have more inventory, some have builder incentives, some contain strong and weak property types operating side by side or just in short distance to each other. And some markets, especially premium parts of San Francisco, are actually strengthening, while the broader public still believes the doom loop story. That is exactly why I do not want you asking only, are California home prices dropping? Ask instead, where is buyer leverage increasing? Why is it increasing? And does this specific property make sense 5 or 10 years from now? If you are considering buying any of these types of properties or just looking at a strategy to make it possible in the future, my team and I can help you put together a plan, compare payment options, a financing strategy, insurance impact, seller concessions, and just a long-term wealth creation plan. Our information is in the description below, and as I mentioned, guys, you can reach me on Instagram anytime at Arjun Mortgage. And just remember, guys, here at the end of the day, just because a property grabs your attention with a price reduction does not mean that it's an actual deal or that you don't need to do your homework on it and analyze it properly. Sometimes the truth is hidden, just like we described in this list of 10 cities. I hope you guys found this useful. Please reach out to us if we can be of any help. Thank you for subscribing to this channel, liking this video, sharing it with someone that may benefit from it, and I will catch you guys on the next one.